Hey guys, a bit of an unexpected video this week. I had two other videos planned to go live before this, but dates changed, so the end song speculation video, which is now fully scripted, and my running tags video, which is written but in a first draft state, will have to wait. Why? Well, I have my first real life tournament, and it has a date. I'll be attending the Highland Brawl in June, and I'm so happy to be getting more games of Infinity in person. TTS is nice and great for pickup games, but it's nice to chill and talk with people and get out of the house. So today's video is more like me vocalizing a sort of checklist for my first tournament that will hopefully be useful for you, as you may be heading for your first one too as well at some point. Also, this goes up the Monday before the event, so if I miss anything, y'all can let me know what I'm missing. I'll be talking about the event, what I need, what I am taking, what I am expecting, and what my goals are. Remember, if you like the video, to like and subscribe for more and to hear how I get on. So what is the event? Well, as I mentioned, it's the Highland Brawl in Stirling in June. If you want to know more, go and find a way into the Scotland Infinity Discord to find out details. It's a 3-round, 1-day event with 2 fixed lists in the traditional format. I don't know if it's ITS, but it's basically all there. There are 3 rounds in order: unmasking, power pack, and supplies. Interesting choices, but I think I can split my list appropriately there. So what does each mission consist of? Unmasking is a little complex, and until I wrote this, I somehow was convinced it was actually Mindwipe we were playing. So there are no classifieds, but there are 3 HVTs who are deployed normally. However, you must pick one privately that is the designated target. Your goal is to get to the midfield, push one of the 3 consoles, or more, and then pick which HVT you want to reveal. If this is a designated target, your objective is to kill them. If not, you can still kill them now, but they're far less valuable. Don't worry about killing these guys though, they're BS8 with a stun pistol or Fizz 11. This should be an easy one, right? Just deploy some trends, push some buttons, then shotgun rain, right? Well no, there's an exclusion zone covering where HVTs can deploy, so basically I can still bring them, but their camo and hidden deployment will be protection for turn 1. And basically mind games. So I'm not sure what list I'll take, maybe my power pack list or maybe the supplies list, but either way I should be able to deal with the midfield. The scoring is pretty focused on killing HVTs, then grabbing consoles and protecting my own HVT. I think if I'm smart with my specialists and kinda lucky, I should be fine here. Power pack is simple. 3 consoles in the center, you press to win, and finally 1 in your own half of the board that only requires contact to capture, so keeping people away from here is a must. The only issue here is that your DZ is split in the middle, which is a little bit of an issue for me since I run a lot of REMs and those are pretty big bases. But having played a practice game and assuming the terrain is good, I should be okay. The other big issue is the saturation zone, which reduces burst by once when shooting through it, which is an issue for my ARO PCs and a little bit on the offense. Although I am Pano and the list I have should account for this. Oh, and it's 2 classifieds as well, so that's not an issue. The final mission is supplies, a simple, well-loved game mode. 3 boxes in the middle, most boxes wins. Bit of an oversimplification, but it's not entirely wrong. I have had good practice and I know what I want here. Take boxes, tank up and screen my opponents out. So what do I, or you, need for my or your first tournament? Well, a couple things. You'll need models and lists, token and dice, terrain and objectives as asked, and classified cards. A small list of things, but each of them are very important. These are, to some extent, also apply to your first IRL game, so they're worth keeping in mind regardless. First off is the models and lists, and well that's kind of obvious, but there's a couple things to remembering when assembling both. Unless specified otherwise, Infinity tournaments are fixed list events, which means you need to make the required number of lists beforehand, and the ITS tournaments kinda need you to submit them before the first round, but that's not really properly enforced. You'll need to know the points value of the games that you'll be playing, usually between 150 and 400, with 300 being the ITS and community standard. You'll also have to consider other restrictions like limited insertion and soldiers of fortune. You'll obviously need the models, but fortunately proxying is fairly common, and like rule 1 or 2 in the document, Corvus Belli only cares that it is their models and that it matches the silhouettes. Your tournament organizer may restrict or lax this further, but as a whole, the community is pretty relaxed with this. Finally, courtesy lists are a special print of your list that have all the hidden information removed. You'll need to bring these along so your opponent knows what they're up against, and it can save a lot of time and it's considered very good form. It also allows you to make notes on units that are open information but not in their stat box, such as specific models being used. Next up is token and dice. It's a requirement, I'd say, to have all your tokens at hand to use when necessary. Do you need a token for everything? No, but you should have enough to remind yourself and track common things. An example is if you get into unloaded state, you could flip over a suppressive fire token to remind yourself the state of that unit. Camo tokens and template weapon templates are pretty much required since they represent actual units on the table and the effects of weapons in a war game. Silhouette markers are good to allow you and your opponent to make informed decisions about line of fire, which is a table state and open information required for the game to function. Classified deck or some way to roll for classifieds are required as many missions have it as a scoring element, so for a fair and proper tournament you'll need them. Fortunately, over the last month or so, the availability of these cards has drastically increased, with a now free PDF download from Corvus Belli, link in the card and description, and a free new website from the community, link now also in the card and description. So, getting and somehow using these should be a lot easier and help with your matches. The final thing you might want to bring is any terrain or objective markers your tournament organizer has asked you to bring. This is pretty simple. Just grab what you own and were asked to bring and bring it along to help your tournament organizer make tables. You may not need to, depending on the venue. It is nice to make sure that the tournament organizer is aware that you have terrain and that it can be used if necessary. So of this, what do I have? Well, everything, more or less. Model-wise, I have all but 2 models ready. I'm missing some Silhouette 1 models I'll need to proxy. I need to paint my 112, so I have a bike proxy, and I need to fix my Fongazi, who's come off his base. I have all my tokens and dice. I just need to get my classified deck sorted, and figure out if any additional terrain is needed. So what am I taking to this event? Which army? So for my first tournament, IRL, I'll be taking my first army, and the most painted and completed one. Military orders. I have a lot of experience with it, and I understand the limitations of the army. I know what threats I need to deal with, and I know the counters I have. Military orders is keenly capable for these missions as well, thanks to units like the Montesa, the Teep Balang, and the Knight Hospitaller, and Teutonic Knights as fast, effective gunfighters. I have Secdets and Pathfinder seasonal rules that are a big boost, giving me fast specialists and a capable free corner guard. I also have strong and capable wildcards in military orders, so I can tailor fire teams as needed. My MO core, which features in literally every list I make, has the flexibility of innate 10-box, MSV IRO, MSV2 aggression, strong lieutenants, missile launchers, dodging, almost on 17s, hollow mask engineers, and cheap hackers. It's a really good, and purity doesn't matter too much in Pano. Any Harris I bring will also be covered with hackers or good shooters or whatever Constantino brings. Outside of high min and hacking, I should be able to handle most threats well enough. I have a breadth of specialists to make sure I can do any mission. So what am I expecting? This is a broad question, so let's break it down a bit. What am I expecting to play against? Well, the Scotland scene seems small, but very big in terms of armies played. I'm expecting to see anything. Combined Army, Tohan, Nomads, Morats, probably some other Pan-Oceanian, maybe even Military Order mirrors. Can I handle every possible list these armies can throw? No, but I'll do my damnedest not to lose. What am I expecting the tables to be like? Well, fairly open, but with some scatter. The location has lots of terrain we can use, but it's mostly for Warhammer, Malifaux, and maybe even Bolt Action, which I think is a different scale, but we could probably pilfer that if need be. I'll see if I need to bring some of my own terrain, and we'll help out with the tables to make sure we can get some solid setups. With open tables, as long as we have good DZs that suit me fine as a panel player, since I have very good shooters in my list. I also wouldn't mind dense tables either, since I have plenty of templates in my army. Not to mention, everything in the midfield will either be 2 wounds plus, min-3 at the very least, and have some form of melee competence or avoidance. Sure, your Galwegian or Bear could berserk me, but I'll probably survive and beat you back. So what's my goal for the event? Well, 2 things. Win a game and have a good time, to be honest. Nothing complex. Winning a game is also at least drawing. I don't want to lose all 3. Although doing well at the event would be nice, I think I need some more practice though. In terms of trying to have a good time, I will try and take some photos so we can talk about the games in another video and give you actual photos of the game and talk about how, if any, of my mad ideas worked. So yeah, that was a quick video talking about my upcoming first IRL tournament and how I'm really looking forward to it, and a sort of checklist to make sure I've got everything. Hopefully when I do my next video I can talk about the great time that I had and share some lovely photos with you guys. Anyway, until then, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.